Hey, Professor. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wave, Mom. 5 people in my audience. So the title of this is How to Turn a Box Cake into a Bakery Cake. Have you ever been to a social gathering where each guest brings a covered dish? In the South, we call this a potluck supper. One of my favorite things to do is to take a simple box cake mix and turn it into what people might think is a cake purchased at a bakery. Today, I'm going to demonstrate to you how you can do this too. So the first thing we're going to do is make preparations. So what I have here are 2 8-inch cake pans. And what we're going to do is I use Pam, but you can use any non-stick spray. And we're going to spray them down really good. And the reason that we're going to do this is so that the cake doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. And in the end, you have a beautiful cake. So once we have the cake pans sprayed down, we're going to set them to the side. Next, you're going to get a large bowl. I have a large glass bowl, but you can use whatever bowl you like. Then we're going to get a whisk or hand mixer, whichever you prefer. I prefer a whisk, and this is what we're going to use to actually mix the cake mix and the ingredients. And then I have a spatula. The spatula is to make sure that when I'm pouring the cake into the pans that I get every last bit out. Okay, I'm going to set those to the side. So now I need to show you how to make proper substitutions to make your box cake taste like a baker's cake. So what I have here is a box of Duncan Hines Red Velvet cake, and on the back it says that you're going to add 3 large eggs to the mix. We're not going to add 3. We're going to add an egg. We're going to add 4. So general rule of thumb is to add an extra egg to whatever the box calls for. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our box. Open up the bag. We're going to dump all the mix into the bowl. Alright. And then we're going to take and throw this away. I like to use a fork to crack my eggs with, but other people use their hands. It's up to you. Alright, so we have 1 egg. Two eggs. 3 eggs. And 4 eggs. You also have the option of adding another egg. Eggs are added for moisture. So if you feel like you've tried this and 4 eggs or 1 extra egg isn't enough, you can add another egg to make that 2 extra eggs as far as what the box calls for. So next, you're going to look at the box and it says to add 1 1/4 cups of water. We're not going to use water. We're going to use milk. So I've pre-measured this milk out. We're going to pour it in with our mix and our eggs. And generally what the milk does is it adds a richer flavor to your cake. So next, the box says to add a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. What we're going to do is we're going to double that to make it 2/3 a cup vegetable oil, and we're not going to use vegetable oil. We're going to use melted sticks of butter instead. So I have melted 2/3 cup of butter, stick butter, already, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that in here as well. All right. And in the South, everyone knows that butter tastes better, so that's why we add the butter instead of the vegetable oil. So then we're just going to lightly whisk our mix, even everything out. Alright, starting to look pretty good. So finally, we're going to make one last adjustment to the directions on this box cake mix. What we're going to do is we're going to set the temperature of the oven. Now, you'll see on your box mix, I'm going to use two 8-inch round cake pans. And it says that I need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to take it down to 25 degrees to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason we do that is it's going to help add moisture to the cake. We don't want to have a dry, flaky cake for the people that we're making it for. We want it to be good and moist, and thick, rich, and tasteful. Alright, so once you've had your oven heated 25 degrees below what's called for, you're going to look at the size of your pans, which I said were two 8-inch pans, and on the box it calls for 35 to 38 minutes of baking. Generally, you're going to add 2 minutes to the largest time that they give you on the box. So here it's 38 minutes, so we're going to bake for 40 minutes. That's just to compensate for the 25 degrees that we lowered the temperature for. So, looks like I have the mix good and mixed. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to remove the whisk. We're going to take the cake mix, and we're going to try to do this as evenly as possible. And we're just going to pour it into the pans. I like to shake the pan a little bit. It helps even out the batter. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the spatula. I'm going to use it to help get this batter that's stuck on the sides into the cake pan. Alright, that looks pretty clean to me. Like I said, you don't want to waste a drop of this because it's going to be very delicious. Alright, so it's time to bake. So let's go ahead and open up our oven. We're going to set both cakes inside. Let it cook for the required time. And this is what you get. Now this may look like an ordinary box cake, but I can guarantee you the taste a lot better. Any questions?
Sounds delicious.
It is. And everyone's going to get a piece.